Afrox, which entered the local motorsport arena as sponsor of the BMW team this season, lent its name to the race day. The gas company enjoyed a visible presence in the pits, with drivers Anthony Taylor and Etienne van der Linde swamped by autograph hunters during the morning. Some Afrox representatives were much prettier than its two drivers, and there was generally a festive atmosphere in the Zwartkops pit. Defending overall South African production car champion Sean Watson-Smith went to Zwartkops as current Class A points leader, challenged by Johan Fourie, Anthony Taylor and Leroy Polter. Danny van Niekerk would be the man to chase in Class B, with Ben Morgenrood his closest opposition.
Sean Watson-Smith leading points coming into Zwartkops. Change of scenery as well here. They put a rolling start in on you. That's really going to affect the pull away on the Audis.
Yeah, we're already battling. Well, I'm battling with being the heaviest car. I mean, it's a great feeling to be leading the championship, but when you're driving the car, it's not so great because I think I'm about 25 k's heavier than even the next heaviest guy. So that is a big disadvantage. And then, as you say, to lose the standing start, we just lost 2 positions straight away into the first corner. So, but anyway, we'll do what we can, get as many points as possible.
There were changes at the Nissan dealer team, and we investigated.
Well, Sam, Nissan is all about the new and the old here. Duncan Foss coming back from a long time away from circuit racing, joining the Lobster here down at Zwartkops. How does it feel to be back on the pavement?
Well, at the moment, it's a case of hero to zero. We had a good weekend on the dirt last weekend, and now I'm back in the real world of motor racing on circuit. And I must be honest, I'm battling a little bit, but we got one more session before qualifying, so hopefully I can improve a little bit.
I'm sure Dazzler's helping you out, though. Lobster, you've been out there this whole season, and the Nissan's really enjoying it and leading more than a handful of laps down at the previous race. You actually told me, though, this man's your hero from a long time ago.
Yeah, look, man, I must say, I remember watching touring cars when I was still a baby and not involved in motorsport, and watching Duncan and Janelle racing the BP Nissans, I think it was. And yeah, it's nice to have him as a teammate this weekend. In Cape Town, I had Dion Javert, who was also one of the guys I used to watch, and it's nice. We haven't had much of a chance to chat this weekend because it's been a very tight schedule today. We've had 4 sessions in a couple of hours, which has been a bit difficult to suss the handling of the cars out and look at some data and that. But we're gonna get together this weekend and make sure we're chasing the rest of the guys really hard.
We asked factory Sasol Nissan 350Z driver Chops of Hookah to take our viewers for a drive around the Zwartkops circuit, so sit back and enjoy.
Coming down the pits, in the straight, select 4th gear, going past the pits, coming into one of the super fast corners of the circuit, picking a spot, picking the apex, flat on the juice again, heavy braking into the hairpin, picking up a spot, down to 3rd, down to 2nd, onto the apex. Coming out of this corner, you're using the whole track, maximizing every moment you have on the engine. Coming up into 10.3, 4th gear, going up, pulling the revs up till it hits the red line, onto the brakes, pick a spot, turn into the apex, which is one of the super fast corners of the circuit, using the whole track. Coming up to one of the tricky corners at Zwartkops Raceway, 2nd gear corner, pick the apex, go to the apex, climb the curb using the whole circuit. Coming off, back to 3rd, hold it into 3rd, brakes, turn the car, come in, use the whole circuit once again, onto the curb on the inside, going to one of those blind corners where you don't see if there's an incident or an accident on the other side. Onto 3rd, back to 4th. That's a lap at Zwartkops.
After official qualifying, Anthony Taylor, Etienne van der Linde and Chops of Hookah held the top 3 group positions, and we spoke to them.
Well, it's quite surprising, but nonetheless, I think the guys have put in quite a substantial amount of work with the car, and trying to find our way around here with a perfect setup that basically suits my kind of driving style.
Obviously rounding out a top 3 qualifying of all rear-wheel drive, and I know there's been a lot of moans down in the Audi camp. Certainly when it comes to the first start being a rolling start, this is really going to give the race to the rear-wheel drives to really get off the line fast.
Well, we strongly hope that things would come down our way, with obviously BMs being rear-wheel drives as well, and the Nissan being rear-wheel drive. So at the end of the day, I think we're going to put out a very spectacular show out there.
First of the Afrox BMWs, and it's nice to have two of you up there, and obviously a good showing for the Afrox team. You were on the pace very well early this morning in practice, but come qualifying, second place. But I'll tell you what, you've got some good race pace in those cars.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a good result for Team Afrox, front row. Obviously, I would have loved to be on pole myself, but made a slight mistake on my second lap. So I think the package was good enough for pole. I just didn't put it together.
Something to look at. Thank you, Etienne. And across to you, Anthony Taylor. A fantastic pole position for the Afrox BMWs, definitely showing you and the car are on the pace.
Yeah, I must say, we can't, it's a great start to the weekend, you know, with Afrox sponsoring the whole day, and with the two cars on the front, let's just hope we can pull it off to the end, have a 1-2 at the end of the day. It would be great.
And your problem is being getting stuck in the mid-pack and having to box with a lot of cars getting in your way, or a couple of guys trying to make some dodgy moves. Now you've got a chance to run clear out front and just get away.
Yeah, well, you know, that's always the key secret, especially on a tight circuit like this, you know, is to get the pole and then get a good start in front, stay out of trouble and just bring it home. That's really what the key is, and with a good team backing us with Afrox and the ADF Motorsport team together with Castrol, and that, we can't go wrong.
Mazda RX-8 pilot Ben Morganrud would start from pole position in Class B, sharing the front row of the grid with Dave Compton's Toyota.
A and B about to get underway here. 15 laps of action, and it's a rolling start, and we're in for the first time ever a rolling start in heat number 1 for Bridgestone production cars as they head down to turn number 1. Look at that, Team Afrox at the Afrox Day 1 and 2 heading into turn 1.
You can just see the nose of the BMWs just lift up as they lit up their back tyres, and what a start from the Lobster. Darren Lobb representing for the Sam Racing team, and they are on a flyer. So far, no Audis. There they come. It's Melville Priest and Sean Watson-Smith, but they're down in 6th and 7th.
Lenovo My Car is the first Audi there, Matt, well picked up. Here we go on board with Team Afrox's Etienne van der Linde on the tailpiece of Anthony Taylor, and the two BMWs getting away from the front end of this field as they head through treacherous turn number 4.
Now, the big smiles when it came to qualifying and when they were told about the rolling start. The BMWs, fantastic legs, a lot of high-speed action, and really, once they get out front, there should be no catching them. They've really turned on the pace. The Afrox BMWs really coming on strong at the Big Z.
Onto the top of the hill, and look at this action aplenty. This is Sam Racing taking on Nissan Racing, and no holds barred there between Poulter and Lobb. He just edges out Lobb there, unfortunately, and here comes the Lenovo My Car Audi of Melville Priest.
Some strong elbows being thrown there. Looks like Mel's going to have to go around the outside of the Lobster, and Lobster holds his line very nicely, shoves the big Audi way wide, but he holds his position.
As they go down and starting lap number 2 now. Here comes the Engine Extreme team. Michael Stephen moving up ahead of the Lenovo My Car Audi of Melville Priest. And as they come into turn 2, it's hot onto the brakes. Look at Job Sapuka up there in 3rd place, doing a great job.
So both of the BMWs leading out over both of the Sasol Nissans. It's going to be all about rear-wheel drive. Lobster had a mistake there, didn't get the good drive. Melville Priest in the Audi is now coming on strong. He's about to break the top 5. Watch out for a move on the brakes at the top of the hill next time around.
Unbelievable lap times here, and I think we're going to be up for a lap record if they keep up this type of pace. There goes the Audi up the inside. So the Lobster being dropped down there. Darren Lobb in the Sam Racing Tubular Tech Nissan 350Z is now the Nissan in the Audi sandwich.
Third of the way into heat number 1, and Anthony Taylor is starting to stretch his legs. Position 2 is what it's all about, as Poulter is now coming up on Etienne van der Linde. And further back, a big dice. Michael Stevens and Johan Fourie in the Audis, really battling with this infield track.
It's the Zoom Mazda all on his own. Unfortunately, Donnie van Niekerk staying Ford Fiesta is not working like it used to. And unfortunately, not taking his new sponsor to great heights that he hoped to do here at Zwartkops. But the two Sasol Toyota Runexes, unfortunately, not having the pace to stay with Ben's Mazda.
Oh, the man that's missing is the man running second in the championship, Donnie van Niekerk in the Ford, having a dismal weekend and big problems. He's out of it at the moment, and it's all about the Sasol teammates as we go back to the last lap. And huge action. That's Voss getting spun off. Michael Stevens. It wasn't Michael Stevens. It was Watson-Smith. Little bit of a touch, and that sent the Nissan into the gravel.
The result was a total triumph for Team Afrox BMW. They took the first 2 places, and Anthony Taylor set a new overall production car lap record at Zwartkops. Ben Morganrud took the Class B victory ahead of Riyad Jaffa, but the men of the moment were Anthony Taylor and Etienne van der Linde.
Team Afrox BMW, that's what it's all about. Anthony, I know that's definitely what you needed. What a fantastic run.
Yeah, it was very great. You know, we had a great start yesterday. That was just the beginning. We're halfway through the day, so one win. Let's try and do it the second race. That's what we needed.
Etienne, fantastic drive again. Again, the BMW is just showing dominance, and rolling start, very strong from your side.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they all went to plan. I mean, couldn't really get ahead of Anthony in the beginning, and then after that, just a solid second place. Best result for Team Afrox and Castrol.
Race 2, another rolling start, reverse grid, and we've got a Subaru out front, the return of Davy Olivier.
Oh, it's great to see the man who dominated here last time out at Zwartkops, the Super Series here. Oh, Chop Sapuka getting pushed wide. Johan Fourie very late onto the brakes into turn 2. Man, was that awesome braking there from Fourie. He's going to be under some big pressure now. He's got lots of contenders for this championship making their way through the field, and they want to get up there as quickly as possible.
Very late on the brakes for all the drivers into turn number 2. They really want to get through the traffic as early as possible. Fourie is a king when it comes to the second heat, and he's under massive pressure. Look at Polter tapping him all the way. 3 cars abreast. It's a Nissan, it's a BMW, it's an Audi flying up into the top of the hill.
We're on board with Chop Sapuka onto the braking marks now. Remember, the white line rule doesn't affect anybody in this class, so you've got the whole road to use, and Sapuka's using his teammate and possibly going to go up the inside of Taylor. Look at that, great driving from Fourie. He's going up the inside of the Lenovo MyCar car there of Melville Priest. He's going to be on the outside, and Melville's going to force him wide.
Remember, these are all the flyboys. They really need to get through the traffic. At the moment, they're holding each other up, but Chop's right under the wheel of Taylor, and that's Fourie spinning out. Fourie, the top guy's just missing him, and Indy Oil's parked on the side. What a heartbreaker.
Another heartbreaker there for Johan Fourie, and he's going to be unfortunately out of this race. You can see that the Audi is damaged quite badly there. But back to Class B, and look at that. Mark Carver hangs on for 1 lap. He's the 1-lap wonder in the VIP Toyota Run-X. He's got serious pressure on the back there from the Sasol Toyota Run-X there of Compton. Compton looking for a way past as they go through turn 2. I'm not quite sure how much longer Mark can hang on.
Yeah, it's factory Toyota versus private entry. You can always tell Compton as well has got those green wings, but we go back to the front, and it's still the Subaru that leads out over the Audi, another Audi, and then we go back to the rear-wheel drive. So definitely in the second race, the Flyboys from race number 1 having a battle all the way through. It's going to be a long time till they can get to the front. 4-wheel
drive is the way to go here, and this is the man who dominated both heats last time we were at Zwartkops last year, and he was the man who absolutely annihilated the field. He won by about 3 or 4 seconds, if I'm not mistaken, but he's under some serious pressure from Michael Stephen, who's looking to take his first win in Bridgestone production cars.
Olivier goes wide, goes defensive, and Michael Stephen, very wise to that move, ducks up the inside, and he gets on the power very early. Engine Extreme Audi leads out.
Oh, a little tap there from Davy Olivier. Mike's not going to be happy about that, but he is going to be very happy that he's in the front of the field. And with the Subaru behind him, I think he's going to have an opportunity of getting away from the rest of the pack. Look at that. The next man up is Melville Priest. He's just in the background, and he's already onto the tailpiece there of Davy Olivier. So Olivier coming under some big Audi pressure.
Further down the road, we've got the Sasol Nissan versus the BMW. That's going to be another battle, but it looks like Melville Priest has got the line up the top of the hill. This is Michael Stevens. See what the next car is. It should be the Audi of Melville Priest coming through. Yes, it is. He's made that move right at the top of the hill. Late braking, and he powers through. A new car into second.
Battle in 4th and 5th is heating up big time here, Matt. Etienne van der Linde in the Afrox BMW looking for a way past Chop Sapuka. Sapuka's going to try and make that Nissan 350Z as wide as possible and try and keep that Afrox BMW behind him. But it's not going to be an easy task. Van der Linde knows his way around the circuit. This is their official home circuit.
Group B, and look at that, we've got a new leader, Kusi Swanepoel in the Barnett Spares. He's coming on strong. Then we've got Ben Morgenrud, sneaky little move, made the gap alongside the Toyota, and he's got through ahead of Compton.
Compton now putting pressure back onto him, but look at that, Kusi goes defensive, Ben goes wide. Whoa, that was great driving there from Ben Morgenrud. He nearly got his nose taken off, and of course, that Mazda's been in a couple of wars this season already. Compton goes wide, rally style, using his rally knowledge to great effect.
So Michael Stephen leads out Class B, then we go back to Priest, then it's Olivier. Oh, we've got contact. Van der Linde just turns in hard on Sapuka, and that's got to have done some damage to the Afrox BM.
Yeah, if it hasn't, they're going to be very surprised. Back to Class B, and here comes the Mazda up the inside of the Barnett's Auto Spares car there of Kusi Swanepoel. So Ben Morgenrud hits the front end, and look at the big flame out the back end. That's very conducive of Ben Morgenrud's cars. Always big flames.
Even more action coming up into Class A, and it looks like Sapuka's got his way around Davy Olivier, so unfortunately the prep that Davy has missed out on by missing the first 3 rounds is starting to show.
Yes, indeed, Matt. These boys have put in a lot of effort and they've stepped up the game completely. Davy Olivier, unfortunately, has missed out on that. And it's Audi's 1 and 2. Sapuka there in 3. Here comes Taylor. He's moved up 1 position now. So he's the man who's on the move. And so is Darren Lobb, looking for a way past the very injured Afrox BMW there of Etienne van der Linde.
I got to say, Lobb's very much improved. He's showed good form in the second heat of the previous round down at Port Elizabeth, and he's really found his feet. A lot of testing. He knows his way around Zwartkops, and he's going to be trying to get around one of the factory stars in front of him, Etienne van der Linde. Look at the damage on the first of the Afrox cars. Taylor does not care a jot, and he will keep the power down the whole way through. He's got to get around Olivier because he's starting to hold him up.
Yeah, Olivier's definitely holding that BMW up, and Sapuka's getting away because of it. So Taylor realizes it's now or never. Get past that Subaru Works Impreza. Remember, they launched the brand new Works Impreza just the night before this race. So all of the Subaru boys are here. And there goes Taylor up the inside. Wow, good move there from Anthony Taylor. Very seasoned campaigner and made that look really simple.
Straight line speed on the BMW, and he just tucked in behind the big wing on the Subaru, and he made it through. Looks like Ben has made it to the front and finally stretching his leg. He's been the fastest in Class B all weekend, but what an improved drive from Kursi Swanepoel. Finally coming to grips with Class B. And Mark Carver just hanging on to, actually he's hanging on to 4th place at the moment.
Here comes the leader in Class A, but we just got to mention the fact that it's Audi's 1 and 2, Nissan in 3, BMW in 4th place there, and Taylor starting to close down on Sapuka. Look at that. Under braking makes him about 2 or 3 car lengths. It's Etienne van der Linde now ahead of Olivier and Darren Lobb just behind them. So really tight stuff at the front end here with only a couple of laps to go.
Yeah, strong move from Etienne van der Linde to get that Subaru between himself. But Class B is what it's all about. Nice clean race from Kursi Swanepoel. Now it's Compton. He's the one with the green windmirrors, and Jaffa trying to move up the inside. Looks like he made it stick, so teammates dicing over 3rd.
Amazing to think that the man in 2nd place in this championship is not in the race. Donnie van Niekerk in the ST. He even went to go get the rally car and give it a run, but unfortunately not running on the same rules as the Class Bs are allowed to.
Class A heating up as well. Looks like Priest was starting to close down the gap, and there goes Etienne van der Linde trying to get through. Olivier has made that place back. So really big problems for van der Linde, and he'll be worried about his wing mirrors because Lobster is coming on. There goes the move. Van der Linde strong up the inside, late on the brakes, turns it in. He's going to shove the Subaru wide.
Yeah, I think that even Davy Olivier's extensive knowledge of the circuit is going to be able to keep him in 5th place. Yes, unfortunately he has fallen back, and he's now down into 6th place. So 5 and 6 is a battle of note, and so is 4 and 5. Here we go on board with the man in 4th place.
Chops Puka goes flying past Kursi Swanepoel, who still holds 3rd in the Class Bs. And watch the difference in speed. We're on board with the Class A, closing down on Class B. The top end speed is what it's all about. And 3, 2, 1, he just goes tearing past. That's Riyad Jaffa.
Jaffa onto the brakes very early to allow Chops through. He doesn't want to get involved in that battle, and I wouldn't want to either. But at the front end, it looks like that's an Audi battle of note. And the Lenovo Mark Audi of Melville Priest has closed up big time. Oh, up the inside, Taylor into 3rd place. Sapuka had no answer. He opened the door wide there. I don't know why it was so wide. Oh, a little bit of touching there between Taylor. He's going to have to hold on to that line. He's got the inside line for the left-hander. But Sapuka's going to try something as they're going to the final turn.
But watch the rear view mirrors. That's Etienne van der Linde coming on strong. So big pressure all around. Van der Linde right under the back wheel. Looks like Taylor's got through and starting to pull away from the Nissan. So it's going to be all about the guys that really do not give an inch. This is going to get ugly.
Chopsy goes up the right-hand side. That's the right thing to do. Keep that door closed. Don't let Etienne up the inside. Oh, Etienne gives him a tap from behind. Oh, and another one. Can you believe it? The Afrox BMW is just pushing Tabuka into the dirt. And well, keep it buried. When in doubt, flat out. That's how you do it. Chopsy just comes back onto the circuit ahead of Etienne van der Linde. So unfortunately, costing him 1 position. And Darren Lobb just sat there and went, thanks, boys. I'll take that.
Michael Stephen and Melville Priest both scored their best results of the season thus far, while Anthony Taylor's 3rd place did his championship prospects a lot of good. Ben Morgenrud scored his 2nd Class B victory of the day ahead of Riyad Jaffa, a result that would comprehensively rejuggle the category's title standings. Afterwards, an ecstatic Michael Stephen told us how he had escaped all of the mayhem to win the race.
It was all about the first couple of laps, keeping it clean. I got a good start. I stayed in 2nd. I think on lap 3 I made it to the front and I just put my head down and went. The guys were tussling behind me, so I managed to get away and held the gap to the end. I had a bit of difficulty with the back markers, but managed to get through it all and pull back the win, so yeah, over the moon.
Anthony Taylor left Zwartkops as overall points leader ahead of Sean Watson-Smith and Johan Fourie, with little to choose between them. Former Class B points leader Donnie van Niekerk failed to finish a race at Zwartkops, which gave his closest challenger Ben Morgenrud a huge points advantage. Class T for force-inducted petrol-engine cars had an exciting newcomer in Gary van Heerden's Opel Astra OPC.
Yeah, the guys from Opel have given us a good chance here. Ryan, Jordan and Ryan Pasaki, the boys have pulled together, given us some awesome cars. And we're out here today trying really hard. We've only turned 11 laps before today, but it seems pretty good, and we're battling with a bit of a brakes and setup. But at the end of the day, you know, the car feels awesome, and I think a lot of development from here as we go forward.
A lot of late nights and everything, getting the car running. Only one car down here. Obviously, you're going to be joined by your teammate later in the year, Reggie Root, but you're the man doing the development at the moment.
Yeah, Reckard and I are working really hard on the cars. His car should be ready by Kyle Army. And at the moment, the team working unbelievably. You know, the sponsor pulled together, Soviet, Rob Green Motorsports, from Stephen and Rob Green. The guys are putting huge hours in the engine development on this thing. On fire as well, and Satworld Media, the guys have been good. TSW just putting together and awesome, and Webcom backing us as usual. Excellent.
Friday's official qualifying session was a closely contested affair, with the times of the top 8 cars covered by a single second. Pole position went to Ford Racing Focus ST driver Gary Formato.
Yeah, look, I mean, the car's going well. Yeah, changed the setup for this morning's practice session. Didn't really work for us, but you know, we're running really low weights, you know, because of the results we've had. Car's been quick, but obviously we got penalised in PE, so we never got weighted as much as we should have maybe. So we've got to make hay now while the sun shines this weekend. It's the kind of track where we're going to need as little weight as possible. We're battling with the brakes, and everybody is in fact. So it's going to be tight, but yeah, you've got to get the setup spot on and look after tyres, brakes. It's going to be a difficult weekend.
Gary Formato's going to have the edge over the crowd here as they head down to a rolling start for the first time in heat number 1 for Class T. But look at that, Ian Pepper goes side by side with him through turn number 1, and that little Opel in 3rd place is right there as well. Great to see a good start from a new team and a new sponsor.
The car we saw shooting out to the right-hand side was Sean Duminy, and he's fired up. Look at that. He comes into the corner in 5th place. So the second of the Fords is really running strong as we go on board with Nate, and he's trying to run around the outside of the OPC. That's Gary Van Heerden. These guys are good mates. They'll give each other a lot of room, but a sneaky little quick shift from Nate, and that should put him ahead of the Opel.
Amazing to think that Graham Nathan actually built the car that was on his right-hand side there. Nathan Motorsport being instrumental in getting that OPC, and oh, what is happening there? Look at that. That's Etienne Prinsloo getting it completely sideways through turn 4. I told you it was treacherous, and he just kept it buried, and fortunately just got ahead of the 2 Fiats.
Treacherous turn 4 indeed, but Gary Formato still leading out over Pepper. Things bunched up. That looks like Pete Fasaki going farming, and a big nudge. He almost took out Mark Silverwood in the only Mini out there.
Or is he going mining? Because Time Mining is one of his big sponsors, so maybe he's looking for some oil out there. Right, coming into the final turn, Gary Van Heerden in 4th place. What a great start to this team's efforts here in Westbank Super Series, and of course Bridgestone production cars. It's great to have Opel back in the fray, and unfortunately just a little bit off the pace now, but a lot of development has gone into that. Oh, look at Pepper. He's looking for way. Oh, gives him a tap. Formato gets a tap from Pepper. Oh, car wars yet again.
You know what? Formato left a little bit of a gap there. Pepper had to go for it, otherwise he'd have had the man just behind him eat him out, because Nathan is coming on strong. But going back to Gary Van Heerden, fantastic development. Really battled with the brakes early on, so he's worried about race pace, and he's got Sean Duminy right up behind him in 5th.
There's no problem with the race pace in these first 3 cars. Look at that. You can't even put a matchstick between those cars. Here's the onboard shot from Gary Formato's Ford Racing ST Focus, and looking back at the Seat Cupra of Graham Nathan. Now Nathan very late on the brakes, going onto the top of the hill there. Look at that, the ABS lights still flickering as he climbs onto the brakes there. Listen to that turbo working double time here in the Ford, and Nathan's looking for a way past, hasn't found it yet, but neither has Formato on Pepper.
Yeah, you can hear that dump valve, and it's great to have these onboard shots, so the guys putting together a nice package so we can see exactly what it's all about racing Class Ts. There's the Opel, looks so strong. And then we go back to Duminy, and Philip Kakana coming on. What a result from the Tornado.
Yeah, the Township Tornado having a best run of the season so far, and you can see that Nathan's now moved ahead of the Ford. What has happened to Formato? He's dropped back there slightly. There might be a problem on that Ford. That's a big pity. But Sean Duminy is right behind him, just behind this Opel, and it looks like it's going to be up to him to fly the flag for Ford today.
Well, alliteration aside, it really looks like bad luck for Gary, and I think it was the pipe on the turbo that came off. So it is going to be all up to Sean Duminy, but Ian Pepper off the front now, and Graham Nathan, how many times have we seen that? But for the first time this season, 3rd place on the road, a new car, the Opel of Gary Van Heerden.
And after a huge crash down in Cape Town, it's great to see him up there and already into podium position. But Duminy's job is not done yet, because the Township Tornado in Philip Kakana is run wide. The Ford Focus has run wide into the dirt. Kakana moves up into 4th place. So it's second and fourth.
Well, Duminy, along with everyone else, has had massive brake problems, and you can see they're starting to come into play and ruin his race, but he's got a lot of power under his right foot, so he should be able to try and nurse that Ford home and try and hang on to a top 5.
Down the back straight away now, coming under some pressure from Michael van Rooyen, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, indeed, in the RSC GTI. He's now on the tailpiece of that Ford Focus ST in the hands of Sean Duminy, and flying the flag very high there. Great drive from him, but he's got a lot of work to catch the Township Tornado. He's fallen a little bit further back than what he'd like, and we'll have to wait and see whether that Ford has got something left in these closing stages.
Van Heerden got a nice bit of breathing space behind him. Then we go back to Kekana, and look at that, the Ford is really powering through, but Van Rooyen, improved drive, new driver to the Class T in the 2008 season, and really coming on strong, nice and consistent. Oh, we've got a problem with Kekana.
Kekana's gone off there, unfortunately. It looks like Van Rooyen's going to try something up the inside of Duminy. Duminy shuts the door. Great driving from Sean Duminy, using his regional racing experience. Remember, he does a lot of regional racing, and it's good to see him now using that experience in the Nationals. But it's the final lap, and the PG Autoglass Golf GTI is not going to be bettered by Nathan.
Ian Pepper made that gap that he eked out at the beginning, getting rid of Gary Formato, and no one had an answer to him. He's going to come through, take a nice clean victory, and his car's looking strong for Heat 2.
Heat 2, he'll be at the back of the field because he's won the race today. Second place goes to Nathan, and what a great start to Opel's return to production cars.
Ian Pepper's victory looked comfortable. He finished almost 5 seconds ahead of Graham Nathan, while Gary van Heerden took the Opel Astra OPC to a remarkable debut podium place. Top drivers make motorsport look easy, and Ian Pepper only later divulged how hard he had to work to beat the rest of the turbo pack.
Well, Ian, looked like it was going to be all about you and Nate and Formato, and that's what it turns out to be. But problems for Gary, that just gifted you the win, but strong pressure from Nate.
Yeah, I mean, the brakes are a problem, yeah. I got past Gary, we went into the hairpin together, and at the apex, I think we rubbed a little bit and he seemed to lose it. But there was nothing intentional, and I seemed to break a gap from them. And then him and Graham were fighting, and I was quite comfortable to try and maintain that gap. But the brakes became an issue, and I managed to just eke out a little bit, then I'd have to let the brakes cool down for a lap or so. But yeah, it was nice to win, thanks to PG Glass, Plastermark, all the guys in the team, Christy, Derek, all of them. I mean, it was good.